Welcome to We Are One. Hey, I want to tell you that tonight is a good night. Why is tonight a good night? Because we are starting a brand new series called Influencer. Turn to your neighbor and say, Influencer. Now, I'm super thankful for Pastor Dave and Pastor to allow me to be up here, be preaching to you guys, and getting to start this series called Influencer. But we were talking about this, right? So the team, we get together and we compile ideas for when we're thinking of series. We compile thoughts like scripture verses, illustrations, and all that stuff. And the team, we get together, right? And we're talking about like who are some of the top influencers. Now, I'm going to list them, and I want you to let me know if you know who they are. Whether you like them or not, you at least recognize their name. Jake and Logan Paul. Y'all know who these is? Yep. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, yes. Okay, David Dobrik. David, if you're watching, I want a new Tesla, okay? Charlie D'Amelio. Y'all know? Y'all know? Okay, if you don't, you are a lucky person, okay? The Hype House. Y'all know who this is? The Hype House? Okay, wait. I just found out what the Hype House is. It's like the most unhyped thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm being 100% honest. This is just like, it is so not hype. It siphons the hype out of me watching the Hype House. I'm not gonna lie. And then the last one, it was supposed to be written a certain way, but whoever was typing, I don't know who it was taking notes at the time, but instead of writing PewDiePie, they wrote Cutie Pie. So if you don't know who PewDiePie is, he's a huge YouTuber, but I was like looking forever. I was like, who is Cutie Pie? Who the heck is Cutie Pie? What kind of influencer are we talking about, right? But it ended up being PewDiePie. Now, this isn't a promotion for them. I'm not promoting them. I'm not condoning them. I'm just letting you know that at least one of those names, raise your hand if you recognize at least one of those names. Okay, all y'all in the room. It doesn't matter if you like them. It doesn't matter if you think they're weird. It doesn't matter even if you avoid them. You've at least heard of them. You at least know of them. And these would be what we consider in the world today influencers, right? Y'all like, these influencers, you know those people who be like, I follow this, yeah, I got that merch of this famous influencer. Now it's not just band team merches. Now it's not just merch of a sports team. Now it's merch of a specific influencer. And what do they do? You know, some of them, they might play video games. Some of them literally just take photos of themselves. And that's it. That's all they do. And we look at them and we go, what do they do? But at the same time, they manage to have influence. Influence. I was thinking about it, and we were doing some research. YouTube says that there's over 16,000 accounts on YouTube that have over 1 million subscribers. Think about that. 1 million. Imagine you just like put out a video of you being like, yo, what's up, dude? Right? It got 1 million views. Now imagine the channel getting 1 million subscribers. How many? 16,000. There's so many. The number keeps growing and growing and growing. That's more than you could probably ever encounter yourself, right? If you just went down the list of all 16,000 channels that have over 1 million subscribers, I guarantee you could not get through even just looking at the channels. Not even looking at the videos, just look at the channels, right? Charlie D'Amelio, she's a famous TikToker, she makes an estimated $25,000 per TikTok. Yes. Listen, they're paying her $25,000 per TikTok to put up. Some people probably gonna pay me money to take photos down on the Insta. Like, I ain't gonna lie, right? They're paying her this much just to like, I can't even do it. Whatever they do. That's essentially all it is, right? It's just stolen dances that they're just putting up with. I can't imagine what like a camera would look like as she's like those TikTokers, whoever, they got like the camera like really close to their face and they're just like, right? And some of y'all guilty. I can see it. Lord, bring the conviction down, right? You're in your car and you're just like, I look beautiful, right? And you might not be like, okay, you might be like this. All right, listen, I ain't about Charlie D'Amelio. Good for you. Congratulations. Actually, I love that. You might be like, so I'm not about that, but what does it have to pertain to me if I don't even know who they are? I've never seen anything they do, right? It might not pertain to you directly, but influence can influence indirectly as well. That means it might have nothing to do with you, but the thing that they're wearing affects this person, then you see it, and you're like, whoa, I gotta get me one of those. It influences you, even if you've never seen the influencer. And these influencers, they walk around with a lot of influence. I ain't gonna say they don't. I'm not gonna say that they're pretending, right? I'm not gonna pretend that they don't. They have a lot of influence. They have a lot of sway. People want them to be a part of their ads. They pay thousands and thousands of dollars. If they wear this type of shoe, everyone's got to get that type of shoe. If they wear this type of thing, everyone's got to get that type of thing. Man, I got to get that. I got to get a hold of that. And that type of influence might not be you, right? But we all have our own flavor, you know? We got our own flavor of like what we're watching, what we're keeping up with. Maybe you're not so big on TikTok because it's even going to be gone in a couple months anyway. Maybe you're more of like the Insta person. Who's like your number one social media is Insta. Let me see. People? Okay. You're the person swiping, you're like stories, and now we got Reels now. Congratulations, about time. Maybe you're the Insta person. Okay, maybe you are the TikTok person. Maybe you are, okay, how about this? The Facebook person. Wow, Pauline over here. Yo. Even if you are a Facebook person, you're not going to raise your hand. I know you. You might open it and you might find yourself scrolling and then you're like, oh, what am I, a Karen right now? What am I doing with my life? I know you. I know how it works. Maybe you're a YouTube person, though. Who is my YouTube people? Like you could sit for hours and hours and hours rocking on YouTube. Man, YouTube, it sucks me in, man. I'm a YouTube person where I just get on a playlist and I start watching, and then the recommended videos are like, here's this almost exact same video you just watched, but slightly different. I'm like, hit me up, bro. And I just sit and I can sit and watch, and it influences. You know, I was talking to one of our college students, Selena, and I was like, we were talking about just the difference of our Instagram feed, right? So my Instagram feed, I'm not one, I love people, right? You know it's bad when you have to precursor with that, right? I love people, but I don't really want to see your face on Instagram. That's super mean. I can't take it back. I said it. It's online. I like seeing what people make, right? I like making things. So, like, if you post a picture of your art that you did, I'm going to be like, love it, right? If you post a picture, that's just my flavor. It's not that if I see a face, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm unfollowing them right away. It's just not what I naturally follow. I follow artists, I follow churches, I follow stuff like that. And her Insta feed, though, is if you aren't posting something like in real life, like if you posted some art picture or something like that, she's like, why would I even want to look at it? And so I just thought it was interesting the way that we perceive influence. That the influence that I'm picking up on is different than the influence that she's picking up on. But when we're together or we're talking or we're conversing, that influence begins to cross paths, right? Maybe you're the type, maybe your flavor on YouTube is the makeup tutorials, right? Maybe you're a girl and you watch those makeup tutorials. I have a confession. Brianna, where are you at? Brianna? I started watching her makeup tutorials and I was like, I kept watching, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, if my wife ever needs to know how to do a good smoky eye, I figured it out. I'm just saying, it was interesting. It's like painting, but your face. I always thought girls just woke up that way. Maybe you're a guy, okay? I ain't gonna leave the guys out. Maybe you're a guy and you're just like that guy who's just like, you're the aspiring streamer. You know those guys that buy the $200 gaming chair and you still are awful at games? Maybe I'm preaching to someone in this room. I don't know, right? And you're sitting down and you're like so ready to go. Like you got the gaming chair, you got the headset, right? You're streaming on Twitch. Let's go, dude. Guys, hey, follow me on Twitch, bro, right? Maybe you're that guy. And then you sit down and you're like, Lord, Psalms 23:5 says, you prepare a table before the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows, right? Or like there's another version of that. You prepare my mom's basement before the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with sweat and G Fuel overfloweth. Yeah. That's my favorite translation, the International Gamer version, right? But you still are awful, right? That's me. I'm going to be online. I'm going to be talking trash. I ain't going to lie. Even to my own squad, I'm going to be like, come on, man, revive me, right? Pick me up, right? And then, I'm going to be like, hey, they're almost dead. But I've been, missing. I got potato aim the whole time, right? That's me. That's why I play Overwatch, because I can just throw some turrets down and then be like, hey, look how many kills I got. You might not know what I'm talking about, and that's okay, because I'm awful at it. It doesn't matter. Maybe that's your flavor. Maybe your flavor is the DIY projects. You know what I'm talking about? We got DIY projects, right? You're just like, I want to figure out how to make that shelf that I'll never make while I'm eating my chips, sitting, watching TV. Maybe one day when I get a house, I can look at how hard it is to make this and never do it. But we live vicariously through these people's lives, right? Even if you never make that shelf, it's interesting watching them make it, right? That we're this type of generation. Wow, it is so much work watching people online do work. We've even gotten to this point. Oh my gosh, I just remembered this. I didn't even think about this. There was a leader who came and talked to me, and they were telling me that sometimes when they eat alone, there are YouTubers, I don't even know where, I've never watched one, but supposedly, who will eat food on YouTube. So you can eat with them? That's a real thing. And they're like, when I feel like I'm lonely and I don't want to eat by myself, I pull up a YouTube video from some chick in China as she's eating her food, and I eat my food with her. That's weird, right? That's not even on my notes. I just remembered that. Why, right? We have to live vicariously through these other people's lives. And it influences us, right? It might influence you that I'm not eating alone when everyone knows you are, right? It might influence you like, man, I got to be that streamer. Or, man, I got to get that contour, right? I know what the terminology is. Is that right, contour? I don't know what I'm talking about. But we have influences happening all the time. Regardless of whether or not you know it or whether or not there's a problem, right? See, I'm not here to bash on people who got millions of followers. That's not what I'm doing. There are a lot of, I believe, possibly really good people who put up a funny video and it goes viral and they got 1 million followers. What to do? But what I'm here to say, and what I'm here to address, is the millions of voices that you have on your phone. And because of that, they're swirling around your head. Maybe it's not even social media. Maybe you don't go on social media a ton. But there are constantly that one person that is better than you, or those people who do this thing that you really want to do, and they do it with excellence, and you feel like you're the worst. I'm not here to silence those voices. I'm here to tell you that your voice still matters. I'm not here to say that they shouldn't have 1 million people following them, if they ask for it or not. What I'm here to say is you don't need 1 million people following you to have influence. That's what I'm here to tell you. I'm not here to tear down, right? I'm here to tell you that you don't need to be seen in order to have sway in people's lives. You don't need to be visible. You can be invisible and still have influence. That's the title of my message tonight, Invisible. See, I was reading in the Word, and I came across this passage of the Apostle Paul. If you don't know who the Apostle Paul is, he's a guy in the Bible. He was one of the disciples, one of the apostles. He followed after Jesus, right? And he was a very strong man, not literally, like he had a very strong personality. And at the same time, he still struggled with feeling comparative to people who he thought maybe were better than him, or maybe did something better than him. And I read this verse in 2 Corinthians. He's talking to the church in Corinth because he would write letters to different churches. And he's writing a letter to this church. And he's telling them something that I thought was super interesting because it sounds like, if you substitute some of the language, it could sound like an influencer today. Literally. It says this, 2 Corinthians 10, 7 through 12. You are judging by appearances. If anyone is confident that they belong to Christ, they should consider again that we belong to Christ as much as they do. So what he's saying is this. He's saying, listen, if you belong to Jesus, if you belong to Christ, you should also consider that everyone else around has the ability to belong with Christ as well. So even if I boast somewhat freely about the authority the Lord gave us for building you up rather than tearing you down, I will not be ashamed of it. I don't want to seem to be trying to frighten you with my letters. He would write people and he would write them letters. And when he wrote with letters, that was his influence. He would have power when he would write letters. Maybe you might not be writing letters. Maybe it's a blog. Maybe it's something you do that you feel like you have basically, God is empowering you to do that. He doesn't want to frighten you with my many letters. For some say, here's my favorite part, his letters are weighty and forceful, but in person, he's unimpressive and his speaking amounts to nothing. Right? Imagine this. The YouTuber who's got the camera set up, and they're like this big personality, and you see them in person and you realize they're just a person, right? They're just flesh like me. You have that idol that you look up to, that person that you see on stage, you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's them. They're just as much of a person as you, right? They haven't transcended you and become something else. They're just as much flesh. Such people should realize that what we are in our letters, when we are absent, we will be in our actions when we are present. What's he saying? He's like, listen, when I write to you, I don't just write to you. I live it out. I live out what I say. I don't just say. We do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with some who commend themselves. Now, it's a speculation of mine that Paul is a little insecure because he's addressing these people directly. He's saying, all these folks who is saying that I'm not very good when we get in person. I'm this unimpressive speaker, but my letters might be good, but they see me and they think that I'm some type of idol. They think I'm some type of crazy man, but I'm not. I'm unimpressive. I'm just like you. I could sense that even if I was writing something like this, it would hurt a little, knowing that people might look at me as just like them, as human. I'm just like you, right? Even Paul says this. He says later in a different verse, he says, I'm one of the least of the apostles. He's saying there's all these people following Christ. Man, I feel like the worst. I don't feel like I'm the greatest of them. I feel like the worst. Paul, right? If you don't know Paul, he wrote letters. He wrote most of the New Testament. His words are echoing. They are so influential. They're so influential that 2,000 years later, we're still talking about them. That's how influential they are. And even through insecurity, influence can still abound. Even through that insecurity, influence can still happen. And it happens regardless of whether or not you like it or not. Because you can speak through your insecurities. And you can influence in a positive or a negative way. But he understood that influence first happened with his actions, strengthening his words. You ever talk to someone with hollow words? With words that weren't held up by actions? See, the strength of someone's words comes from the power of their actions. And you can see someone with weak words. You could see someone who you know when they're talking, they're faking it. They're giving that smile. They're just loving. They seem like it, and you feel like you can see right through them. You're like, you are not real, right? The only way you know if they're real, if their words are true, is if their actions can back it up. And we think that if we can get on YouTube, or we think that if we can get on this platform and give nothing but words, right? Maybe give away a Tesla. Maybe that's like my good thing. That's my good deed. Maybe because I have millions of dollars, I can do this. So everyone sees me as this good person, but deep down, my real actions are selfishness, hatred, divisiveness. That's all I care about. But we aspire, man. These influencers. We try to modernize this idea that Paul is talking about. I want you to think about it, not in just the terms of him writing a letter to the church. I want you to think about it in terms of clothes, in terms of personality, in terms of popularity, in terms of the way, how do you fit in? How are you sitting in the social sphere that you're under? Maybe you think that you're sitting good, and in 10 years you realize it was a waste. Maybe you think that, man, if only I could get that influence. If only I could have those people follow me. If only I could, maybe it's not follow me just on social media. Maybe it's literally follow me. Maybe if I had some friends who would be with me. Maybe if I had this. Maybe if I had more followers, and you look and you swipe over and you see those people's Instas. You see them, and you might not think it's a huge deal. You might be like, man, I don't struggle with it. But at the same time, why does your feed constantly look like that other person's feed? Why do you got to get that certain filter? Why do you have to act that certain way because you saw that one person on YouTube do it? I've done it. I'm guilty. There's nothing wrong with having 1 million followers. There is something wrong with the person with 10 thinking they don't have the influence. That's wrong. Because influence has many different avenues. I want you to understand this. Even the smallest wave has a wake. Now, if you've ever been boating, we've gone boating a couple times, the Next Gen team, when we were here this summer, and you just sit on the boat, and even if you're on a pontoon boat that's completely still, you cause a wake. Even the smallest drop, maybe it's a rock in the water, it has a wake, and it carries. And that's what your influence does. Your smallest of actions has a wake. Now you might be like, well, PT then, if that has a wake, what about these millions? What about these people with these millions of followers, right? They must have big rocks. Yeah, they have big rocks, for sure. But the problem is they're dropping their big rocks into kiddie pools. You know what I want to drop my wave in? I want to create waves in the sea of eternity that lasts forever, right? They're dropping huge rocks into kiddie pools because they might have a ton of influence at one time, but does anyone remember them after 50 years? 10 years? 5 years? You want to know something that'll make me sound super dated and like a millennial? I was just on YouTube, and I was just thinking about the old school YouTubers who used to be famous in YouTube. 47 million people would tune in to the most annoying YouTuber in the world. Does anyone remember Fred? Right? Now, let me show you. When's the last time you thought about Fred? Nobody's thinking about him anymore. Why? He had 47 million people watching his videos for some reason. And he had this big rock of influence. But what was he dropping it into? A kiddie pool. I would rather have a small stone and be able to skip it in the sea of eternity and watch those wakes move. When you invest into the Lord, and when you are partnered with Jesus, you aren't in that kiddie pool anymore. Your waves now wave into eternity, and they keep going. That's what the whole emphasis of eternity is. You might think, man, if I can gain that influence, that's good. It's good to have influence. It's good for that rock to be in the kiddie pool. That's awesome. We love that. But what happens if I work? What happens if I toil every day to get those followers? Listen, we love getting followers on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say that the youth account on YouTube, on Insta, on all the platforms that we don't want followers. Why? We want followers because we want people to know about Jesus. Right? It's simple, for sure. But if we toil and if we work and we do everything right and we buy that book 100 different ways to get 1 million different followers and we see that Insta ad and we follow it and we don't get any followers, do we not have success? Do we not have influence? My answer would be no. We have just as much influence because we are throwing rocks into the sea of eternity when we have a conversation with one of you, when you have a conversation with someone else here, when you can talk to someone, when you can love someone, when we do This Heart Loves, when we do Make Them Free. Those are the rocks of eternity, not how many people follow us on social media, right? And I'm not hating on social media. We want those followers. But if we put our stake in our life and those followers and those people in that kiddie pool, I'm never going to be able to swim in the big ocean with the Lord. I'm never going to be able to do it. Jesus is all about flipping the script, y'all, right? He's all about flipping the script. In Matthew 10:39, whoever finds their life will lose it. And whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. You're like, what the heck does that mean? He's saying whoever gives up his life to him, God will in turn give him an even better life. And not just a life that lasts here, but a life that lasts into eternity. Whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Your biggest influence. So Jesus is flipping the script there, right? I'm going to flip the script for you. Your biggest influence happens when you're invisible. Not when you're visible. Come on, do you hear me? Your biggest influence happens when you are invisible, not when you're visible. Why do you think the emphasis of our church is one of servanthood? Why do you think we care so much about people serving, right? When you serve, do we say, hey, go ahead, serve. You're going to be on the platform and be able to say a bunch of stuff that you want to say? No. We say when you serve, you can go backstage. You can go up in the tech booth. You can go meet some people in VIP. Maybe you might have a position of servanthood that puts you in front of people, but maybe not. But it doesn't matter, because servanthood isn't about visibility. It's about heart. And so when you decide to serve, your influence compounds. We're starting this thing in the youth called influencers. And what influencers are is a combination of not only servanthood, but of our social media and of your influence on your campuses. Maybe you're online. Maybe you're going to school in the mornings when you sit down on your laptop. Maybe that's school for you. That's okay. Let me tell you, you can still have influence. I promise. Because servants, a lot of times, they feel invisible. You don't want to know why? Because sometimes they are. They are invisible. Jesus was constantly a servant, and he was constantly invisible. As much as you see those moments when he's in front of the big crowds, he would constantly go away and be with the Lord and be with his Father to get himself invisible. Jesus' greatest moments weren't when he was in front of a crowd, but when he kneeled at the feet of his disciples and he served them. Those are his most influential moments. Because even his disciples tried to propel him in front of people. They'd say, how are you supposed to be a public figure if you're not around people? And he says, basically, I ain't trying to be a public figure. I'm trying to serve you. I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to be a public figure. I want to serve you. You shouldn't want that fame. You should want that servanthood. And influence will compound once you get it. For this influencers team, it starts with social team. It starts with understanding that this is the greatest way to spread influence. It's not about gaining followers for you. It's about gaining followers for Jesus. Our online broadcast, what we do here, all the people watching online, we do this for you. Maybe you've heard of us. Maybe you've never heard of us. Maybe you're just tuning in. Maybe you're stuck at home because your parent couldn't give you a ride. That's okay. We think that you're important. We think that Jesus loves you and he's speaking to you constantly. And we love you. We might not be able to see you. You might be invisible to us. But we want to have influence. So if you would like to sign up, we encourage you to go out into the lobby today, sign up. That's my plug. But influence happens even when you're invisible. Sometimes influence happens the best when you're invisible. The best when you're invisible. Jesus is all about flipping the script. He not only says, listen, he says, if you fast, don't fast in front of people, fast behind closed doors. Don't tell anybody about it. He says, okay, when you give to people, don't be like, look how much I'm giving. Look how much I'm giving. Look at everybody. Look at how great I am. He says, when you give to people, do it in secret. He's flipping the script. He's constantly doing that. And we can see the best example of this with a man named John. Now, John, or we call him John the Baptist, was a man who was born a little bit before Jesus, and he became a great leader. There were people who followed him and who would come out to his rallies, essentially. I want to put this into your perspective. He's basically this big preacher guy, right? And he lived in the wilderness, and he would wear these crazy clothes, eat bugs, right? He was nasty. But his words were powerful. And he would draw crowds. People would come out to see him. He would baptize people. And people would come out just to be baptized by John. But John started preaching this message of this guy named the Messiah. If you don't know Messiah, Messiah means Savior. He started preaching, there's going to be someone who comes to save us. He's going to come. He's going to save us. And one day, while John is with a bunch of people, guess who shows up? Guess who rolls up? Jesus. He rolls up, and John's like, yo, dog, that's him. That's the guy. That's the guy I was talking to you about. And they're like, oh, sweet, man. What do we do now? Right? So it says in John 1:35-39, it says, the next day John was there again with two of his disciples, just two. When he saw Jesus passing by, he said, look, the Lamb of God. When the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. Turning around, Jesus saw them and asked, what do you want? Jesus is like, what do you want, homies? They said, Rabbi, which means teacher, where are you going? He said, come, and you will see. And then they stopped talking about John, right? John spends all this work, all this time gaining all this influence. He spends all this time accruing all of these followers. And after even his followers left, he was taken and thrown in prison. And he died there. He was beheaded with no more people following him. Because he knew his greatest influence was not in people following him, but people following Jesus. Come on. That means you can do every ounce of work. That means you can do every piece of work. You can work forever and ever and ever, and it still won't have the influence that John had. You still won't have that influence that John had when he gave up his followers. Would you be willing to give up your followers? Would you be willing to give up every ounce of influence you have for the influence of Jesus? Would you? For real? Because I don't really care, in my opinion, I don't really care about what other people think about me. I don't really care what the world says. I don't really care because this is what I would care about. John, he gave up all his followers. They started following Jesus now. They are now disciples, not of John, but of Jesus. John had disciples. He had people who followed him around, who listened to him. But now they're disciples of Jesus. And when asked about John, this is what Jesus says. I tell you, in Luke 7:28, I tell you, among those born of women, there is no one greater than John. See, the height of your influence comes from the depth of your humility. I want to be humble like John so Jesus can say that same thing about me one day. That's the one I want to influence. That's where my influence goes. I want to be like John. The Bible says he was just a voice crying in the wilderness, not on some stage. A voice crying in the wilderness because his most important audience was not the people, right? People are important. But his most important audience was Jesus. And the people came after. You might feel invisible. You might feel like you're in the wilderness. You might not feel like anybody can see you. You might literally feel like no one's looking at me right now. No one can see me. No one knows I exist. I have 3 things for you. For the person who feels invisible. For the person who feels like, I'm just a nobody. I'm just living this life, sitting on YouTube, doing nothing. Maybe it has to do with you being proactive in your life. Maybe it has to do with comparison. Maybe it has to do with the way you view yourself and the way you view God made you and he created you and he crafted you. Maybe it's one of those things. But I have 3 points for you who feels invisible. The first point is you can only be followed so far. You're a human. You can only be followed so far. Proverbs 14:12 says this, there is a way that appears right to a man, but in the end, it leads to death. Your greatest influence is pointing people away from you because you can only lead them so far. Guess what? Guess what? You are a dead end. You're driving on a road, you pull left, and you realize the road you've been on, or that you just turned on, is a dead end. It stops. It doesn't keep going. There's nowhere to go. If you are bringing people in to influence them for yourself, you are bringing them to a dead end. Because guess what happens in the end? I'm sorry. We all die. It ain't that peachy. It is awful. Because of our sin nature, because of who we are as people, we all die. We're a dead end. So when people follow us and people go after us, you have people who have millions of people following them, who chant with them in the streets, who go after them. But what happens when there's the dead end and you die? Or that person that you aspire to look at so deeply dies, or they leave. Maybe they don't die. Maybe they just are away. Maybe they're not that friend. Maybe they're not that boyfriend or girlfriend. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. Maybe it's not the way you saw it to be. Because humans, listen, we are traveling down a road that ends. It ends at some point. Something ends. And I can only take someone so far. I can only take their hand and lead them so far. But you know what I can do. And you know what God has empowered me to do is take someone's hand and lead them into the hand of Jesus as Jesus takes both of us into eternity. Right? I ain't here to be doom and gloom. I'm here to show you that the grace of Jesus, that Jesus' love for you, is the thing that propels us past that dead end. It's like the flying car off of Back to the Future, man. It just shoots off. Even when you're facing a dead end, it keeps going because God is not limited by our limitations. When you make yourself a mirror to Christ, you reflect all the glory that people are throwing to you back onto Him. And in that moment, you aren't dropping big rocks in a kiddie pool. You're swimming in the sea of eternity. You're wading in the love of Jesus, in the glory of Him, in His presence. John the Baptist, listen, his greatest accomplishment was not gaining crowds. It was giving up his crowd. That was his greatest accomplishment. Jesus didn't say, yo, he was so good because he was a great speaker, or he was so good because he was that great player, or he was that great streamer, or he was that great influencer. His influence came when I walked by and he said, yo, followers, follow that guy. That's where his influence came from. And at that moment, he felt so invisible. He felt like a nobody. He was in jail. Later on in the scriptures, he was in jail, and he sends word to Jesus, essentially going, do you remember that I'm still here? Jesus is out ministering. And Jesus is like, yeah, I remember. And basically, you will gain riches in heaven. No one is greater than you, John. But the mission of Jesus can take people off of this dead-end road and onto a pathway to heaven like they've never been on before. That's what I want for people's lives. When I recognize my limits and my limitations, again, I will be able to influence so much bigger. When I recognize that it's about me being invisible, and that's not a bad thing. That's the exact thing. He's flipping the script. That's the exact thing that Jesus he wanted from my life. That's what he wanted. He didn't want me to be in front of millions of people so I could take on the glory. Or 10 people, or 5 people, or that one person. He didn't want it. He didn't build me for that. I was not built for that. Why do we think we're seeing celebrities all the time falling apart? Because they're put into pedestals that they were not built for, people. They weren't. They weren't crafted for that. The height of your influence, again, comes from the depth of your humility. It comes from the depth of your humility. Here's what's cool. Worldly influence is built on your strength, your talents, what you're good at. That's what worldly influence is built off of, your strengths. But godly influence is built off of our weaknesses. That he can flip the script again. Take your weaknesses. We think we need to be really good with all these things. God is saying, yo, you could be the worst at all these things, and I'm still going to make you influential. It says in 2 Corinthians 12:9, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness, not in your strength. God's power is made perfect because you are imperfect, not because you're strong. It's not because you are some sort of person that people can aspire to be. It's because you're like, yo, dog, I'm flawed like all y'all. I can't get my stuff right sometimes. And although he desires us to walk and to move in holiness like he does, if I start viewing myself as holier than thou, I fell into the depths of sin and not risen up into the holiness of God. I want to be able to understand influence, but it starts with understanding that being invisible is not a good thing. Being invisible is not always a bad thing. Being invisible is not always a bad thing. Point number 2, visibility does not equal value. We think that if people can see us, they will care about us. If you know anything about comments on social media, you know that's not true, first of all. That when they see you, sometimes they hate you even more. Because what's being revealed to other people? What's being revealed to them is how flawed and how sinful humans are. But it feels so good to write on that comment, man. It feels so good to project my thoughts and my superiority on this comment because, man, I'm not as bad as that guy, right? What would happen if you were put on their pedestal? How would people view you? What would happen if you were put in that position of influence? How would they view you? See, with visibility comes vulnerability. And the more visible you are, let me tell you, the more vulnerable you are. Don't look at it like it's a bed of roses. Understand that your visibility does not equal your value. It doesn't. When Jesus said fast in private, he's saying because fasting has nothing to do with people seeing. When he said give in private, he didn't say, yo, if you give, then people will love you, and that's really what matters. He's saying, listen, I see what you do. I notice you. I care about you. I care about you. And I'm your number one audience. That's what he's telling me. And I give you value, Jesus is saying. I give you value. So if you look at all these other things and you try and find value from them, you will be left empty. And you will be influenced by those things. There's a great quote by a guy, he's a famous rapper. He says, if you live by people's acceptance, you will die by their rejection. If I'm constantly living to be accepted, to be visible in front of other people, maybe it's visible at my school, maybe it's visible at my work. If I live for that visibility and I think that it's supplying value to my life, what happens when I'm not visible? What happens when quarantine happens and I can't be around people? I fall into a pit because I built up my foundation, I built up my life on this idea of people. But people, remember, we're a dead-end road. We can't keep sustaining you. I got to speak to this. That boyfriend or that girlfriend that you think gives you life, they don't. I'm sorry. I know it hurts. I know you feel like they're the ones propelling you forward. They're the ones who gave you the joy of to wake up that day. Man, when you look back, you feel so much love and all this stuff. God created relationships. He loves marriage. He does. He loves marriage. But marriage, relationships, boy, girl, it does not sustain you. And you might not be the type of person who you want to be visible in front of 1,000 people, but you really only care about being visible in front of that one boy or that one girl. And when they give you that visibility, you're like, oh, I'm worth something. That's not where it comes from. That's a dead-end road. It is. Talk to any leader. Talk to any pastor. It's a dead-end road. Talk to anyone else in this room who's been through a breakup and experience. It's a dead-end road. Even in marriage, if you stake your whole life upon that one person, it's a dead-end road. It is. It won't take you to the end. It won't take you and propel you off of this earth and propel you into heaven and give you a life swimming in eternity. It won't. It's very good, marriage. It's very important. Pastor talks about it all the time. And we believe that it's an institution created by God, a covenant created by God to mimic the same covenant that he makes with us, his church, which is amazing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, but it's not everything. And the influence you have goes beyond all of those things. It goes beyond it. It's not bound by it. And you being visible to that one person does not give you value. I promise. It does not give you value as much as you think. As much as you're like, oh, if I don't have this, then I'm going to be worthless. That's not what my God says. I'm here to tell you. That's not what he says. And that's not what I say. And we are one. That's not what we say. That our value doesn't come with who we're with. It's not who we're with on this earth. Our value doesn't come with what we look like. Our value comes with who's in us. That's where our value comes from. And being visible by 1,000,000 or 1 or 5 or 10 does not give us value. But the value has been planted within you. From the second you were born. The word says that he saw you in your mother's womb. That he crafted you. And he breathed life into the first person on the face of this earth. And he continues to breathe life into you today. And that life is a sustaining force that gives you value. It's what gives you value. God sees you. He does. Point number 3. I just said it because I got ahead of myself because I'm excited about this point. God sees you. He sees you. Like the creator of the universe. He sees you. Come on. The God who fashioned the star that's millions of light, not just millions of years, not just millions of miles away, millions of light years away. That same God who can stretch his hand across our universe and touch that star. He's looking down in the smallest of places, and he sees me. That blows my mind. And this point hits me so hard. Because you don't think that I don't feel unseen? You don't think the first tactic of the devil is to make you think that God doesn't see you? That's his first tactic. That's the easiest one. Because we're built as creatures who feel lonely, who feel alone. And my heart over the lonely people in the room are to tell you that God sees you. That maybe your influence is not visible to millions, but there are millions of heavenly hosts. And my God, who looks down on you, and he sees you for everything that you are, everything that you're not. He sees your potential, he sees your future, he sees your past. He sees every part of it. And he loves you for it. He loves you. Imagine if you showed someone every evil thing you've ever done, every evil thought, the worst thing that you've done. You'd be afraid that they wouldn't love you, but God has seen everything that you have done and will do, and he still loves you. Come on. He still loves you. He still died. He knew what you were going to do, and he still died for you because he sees you. You know why God sees you? Oh, I love this, man. Even when you're invisible, God sees you. God has modeled invisibility perfect. That's why. Think about it. It says in Matthew 6:18, he's talking about fasting, flipping the script, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. And your Father who sees what's done in secret will reward you. He is unseen. The God who is invisible. The word says no one has ever seen God, the Father. No one's ever seen him. He's invisible. The God we speak to, this invisible God. And he asks us to be like him. He asks us to model him. He asks us to put ourselves as subservient to the people around us, subservient to his church, as servants to those around him, and make ourselves invisible to make him visible, but he's already invisible. Why? Because he loves using you. He does. He loves using you. And when you make him visible, guess what he does? He uses you for more and more and more. I promise. And it might not be the more that you're looking for, and that's okay. Because as long as he's using me, that's all I care about. As long as he's still using me, as long as he still looks down on me and says, I care about that guy, I see him. As long as when I'm laying in my bed and I feel awful, he sees me. As long as I'm around people and I'm in that crowd, I'm having that great time and I'm laughing, he sees me. God sees me. He's not some guy who he flipped the switch of the earth, got the whole universe working, and says, I'm going to take a lunch break and not care about it for a couple million years. That's not what he does. He doesn't just let us do our own thing and then comes back and be like, yo, this is a big mess, right? He gets his hands in that mess, and he gets in your life, and he goes, let me help you. Come on. And every moment you're swatting him away and you're rejecting him, he's like, it's okay. The word says he stands at the door and he knocks. He's like, I'm here when you need me. I'm here. I see you. Even when you turn your face from me, I see you. Why does God see you? Even in your sin, even in your hatred, even in your evil, why aren't you invisible to him? Because when Jesus was on the cross, he took all that sin that God can't have in him, and he put it upon himself. What did God the Father do? He turned away. Because holiness, God is so holy. Holiness and sin, they don't go together. It's like oil and water. They don't mix. So Jesus said, here's the thing. You know all my peeps? I'm going to take all their stuff. I'm going to take all their sin. If they're willing to give me their life, I'm going to take all their sin. I'm going to put it on me. So Jesus, you can turn your face from me. So Jesus' face cannot be seen by the Father. So this God's face can be turned from Jesus, and he can look directly in your eyes and see you, where you're at, what you're going through, what you like, what you don't like, what you smell like. I don't care. He sees it. Hopefully he don't smell it. He sees you in every moment. Your most influence comes from an invisible God. And if he models the most amount of influence, right? You think about it. He's influencing the stars. He's influencing the air in our lungs. He's influencing every moment of your life. He influences it. And he's invisible. Why can't I be invisible and also have influence? When God speaks, the earth shakes. When God moves, the earth moves. And when he sees everything. In the book of Genesis, there was a lady. Her name was Hagar. She was a slave girl. She was bullied by her master, and so she fled into the desert to escape. She probably felt hopeless. She probably felt so alone. She felt so worthless, like a worthless person, right? And God speaks to her, and he starts telling her about this son that she's going to have. Because back then, the worth of a woman, they felt, was if I have a son, that's my thing. That's what I do. So she's like, okay, I'm going to have this son. And she gets this news from God. And you think this would be great news. But then God says this. God's like, okay, here's what you're going to have as a son, and everyone's going to hate him. And so he's talking to her in the wilderness, and he tells her like this good news and also this bad news. And you'd expect her to be like, God, get out of here. You're telling me this bad news. I only want to hear good news. This is what she says, Genesis 16:13. Interesting. She gave his name, the Lord, who spoke to her, you are the God who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. Sometimes the solution of the problem is not you getting good news from God, but sometimes the solution of the problem is just God seeing you. It is. There have been so many times in my life when I've been going through something, and I'm like, God, I'm like the girl in a relationship. God, I don't care about you fixing the problem. I just want you to hear me out, right? And God's like, yo, I see you. There are plenty of times when he needs to fix a problem. There are plenty of times when you can pray for a problem, when you can pray for a solution to happen. But listen, he has to see you first to see the solution. And guess what? He sees you in every moment. He sees you. He recognizes you. When everyone else around you ignores you, not here, but at school or wherever, at work, when no one sees you when they walk right by you, when you're just a person in a crowd, you are not just a person in the crowd. You are a child of God, who he has come for, who he loves. And you can say, I have seen the God who sees me. I have seen the God who sees me. God knows you at your worst. He knows you at your worst. And that's okay. He wants you at your worst. He wants you in those moments of despair. He wants you in those moments of deep anguish to know, I see you, child. I see you. I see you. I don't just move past you. I see you. I'm not just looking past you to get something that someone else has that you have. I see you. I'm not just looking at you because you're good at this. I'm looking at you because you are my son and you are my daughter. I see you. And because God is a God who sees us, even when we're invisible, we can have influence in our friends, in our family, in our work, in our homes, in our lives. We can have that influence because God empowers us with his sight. 2020. He empowers us with seeing because he first sees us. Listen, Jesus, like those influencers, should know. Those influencers should know this. Jesus didn't come for fame. He came for you. Because you're more important than 1 million followers. He left the 99 for you. He left it all. What John the Baptist did when he gave Jesus his followers, Jesus already did for you. Because he makes himself invisible, God. Because he doesn't care about the fame. He doesn't care about the 99. He cares about you. Finding you. You. So that all will be saved, it says in Timothy. So that all can hear. He cares about you. You matter. And he sees you. Can we bow our heads and close our eyes tonight? Jesus sees us tonight. Even when our life reaches a dead end. Even when we feel like our value comes from the validation of others, from the visibility that we have. It doesn't matter because God sees me and he sees you. In the midst of an abyss of nothingness, in the midst of a world that's falling apart, even in your life if it's falling apart, he sees you. If you're here tonight and you say, God, I just realized you see me. And now I want to give my life to you. I've been following this thing. Maybe it's an addiction. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a relationship. I've been following this thing. Maybe it's a lifestyle. Maybe it's whatever. I've been following this thing. But I need to leave this thing and not be a disciple of addiction, not be a disciple of my flesh, not be a disciple of evil thinking, not be a disciple of anger, but be a disciple of Jesus and follow him into the end. But not even to the end, past the end, even when I'm in eternity. That's where I want to be with Jesus in eternity. If you say, I believe in him and I want him in my heart, can you raise your hands for me today? That's good, that's good. That's good. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I want us to pray this prayer, but I also want to include in all the people who just feel unseen, who feel like they have no influence because they're invisible to other people. If you're struggling with that tonight, raise your hand. It's good. Wow. A lot of people. Yeah. If you're struggling with feeling just invisible, maybe it's in your friend group, maybe it's in your family, maybe it's on social media, maybe it's just because you just feel worthless. If that's you, one more time. If you haven't raised your hand, thank you. God sees you. You aren't invisible. And even when you feel like you are, you can still have influence. You can still move mountains. It says you only need a small mustard seed. You only need a small seed to move a mountain. You only need him viewing you and him seeing you to have power and influence. Let's pray this prayer tonight. Jesus, thank you that you see me. Thank you that you love me. Thank you that you died for me. That even when you were on the cross, come on, even when you were on the cross, you saw me at my worst, and you still said, I love them. So Jesus, what I am is now a disciple of you. I'm now a follower of Christ because I want to be seen by Christ. He's my number one audience. He's the one that matters. And all the people who follow, that's the cherry on top. I love you, Jesus. In your name, amen. Come on, can we give a hand tonight? Let's go. Hey, thanks for checking us out. You can see any latest sermons here, or you can go to weareoneyouth.com, scroll to the very bottom, and there's a connect bar. And on that connect bar, I want you to just let us know how this sermon has impacted you. If you've made a personal decision for Jesus Christ, we want to know about it. We'd love to know your testimony. We'd love to know who you are and to really connect and be a part of the family with you. So if you can do that, we would love for that to happen. Or if you have any questions about upcoming events or more about who we are, browse our website. You can check that out there as well. If you liked what you heard today and you'd like to come on out as a part of our gathering on Wednesday nights, we encourage you to do that. We'd love to shake your hand. We'd love to hug you and welcome you to the family. Or you can check us out on social media and be a part of what's going on every day here at We Are One. God bless.